I want to tell you guys a short, quick story from when I was in high school, because it reminded me of Erica Kirk and what Candace Owens shared on her episode today. I had I would call her an acquaintance in high school. And, since freshman year of high school, she would say, I'm going to marry a football player. I'm going to marry a football player. I'm going to be a wag. I am going to marry somebody who is in the NFL. And from high school, starting in high school, she crafted herself. She chose her university. She chose her college boyfriends in a way that would allow her to be in proximity to NFL players and to marry NFL players. And she didn't necessarily care that if they were attractive or not. It just mattered if they were on their way to the league. So she chose a university where she would be considered a prized possession. She knew her looks compatibility. She knew what would attract what kind of football player, and it worked. By the time she was a junior or senior in college, she had found herself in a relationship with a man who was drafted in the NFL and who was playing across the country. We were on the West Coast. And she took up the mantle of NFL wife. Of course, that life comes with quite a bit of things, including cheating, infidelity, ego, pride, right? These are they're making tons of money, and there's women a dime a dozen. But nonetheless, she shifted into whoever she needed to be to get the man. And why do I tell you this? I tell you this because, as you know, on Candace's episode today, she mentioned she did not use the term shapeshifter, but she mentioned how many boyfriends of Erika Kirk and former friends said, I don't recognize this woman. Who is this person? And I think we've all known someone who's kind of like that, right? We've seen people who are kind of like this, but we don't necessarily ascribe nefarious intent to their behavior. We just go, oh my gosh, she just becomes whoever her boyfriend is, whoever the latest boy is, that's who she's become. We've seen women do that. This is a story as old as time. But why is it different for Erika Kirk? Why is it different? Why is it that it bothers us that she's not who she says she is? And I've been racking my brain, honestly, thinking about this because, again, we all know people who sort of shift a little bit when they get into a different relationship, but her shifts have been drastic. One minute, she's talking about how pornography is okay and how it should be legal because people need to make money. Oh, you haven't seen that yet? I'll share that with you tomorrow. And then the next moment, she's condemning women for working at all and is a stay-at-home mom. And one's got to wonder, what is wrong with you? And I think what I've come to realize is that every opportunity Erika Kirk has received has been because she's trying to get in the spotlight. Every person that she's dated has been in the spotlight. It's not, I almost could forgive her if it was like, I want to marry an athlete. Fine, girl, go after it. But it was, I want to be famous. I want to be popular. I want to be seen. And when someone is willing to do that, they're willing to do whatever it takes. And that whatever it takes feels like it could include some shady dealings in your husband's multi-million dollar, now billion-dollar company. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So let's get into the first thing I wanted to talk about, which is what Candace Owens brought up on her Bride of Charlie episode 1. She mentioned, and you guys know I have been harping on this Catholic thing for a very long time. And the reason is because it bothers me so much knowing how the sort of evangelicals that were in Charlie's circle would have never accepted this. They would have never accepted this as gospel. I'm going to offend some of you today because evangelical conservative Christianity does not view Catholicism as the true gospel. I know that that is offensive to some people, but that is the truth. And this is why, for the life of me, this shape shifting really bothers me. I can't understand how Charlie and Erika even got together. Never mind the fact that he looks a little bit like Beavis. Never mind the fact that every other man that she's dated was like athletic and had muscle tone. Like Charlie was shaped like a string bean. And so it it keeps ringing back in my mind. She was Catholic and he was evangelical conservative Christian until she wasn't. Until she became who she needed to be to marry Charlie. Let's listen to this first episode. What's interesting about that first episode, you guys, was the reaction to the trolls. Conservative Inc. Conservative Inc. was like, before the episode came out, they were like, Candace Owens is going to destroy Erika Kirk's life. And then episode 1 comes out and they're like, that was the weakest, worst thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, you guys are all watching it just like us. You guys, make up your mind. It's either very, very bad or actually very good. It's either, if indeed the truth is that it was the worst episode ever and proved nothing, then why are you up in arms that she's doing an investigative investigative journalism series on Erika Kirk if it's so bad? Why are you upset? And number 3, how do you know if it was so upset? Number 2, how do you know if it was so upset? Oh, because you're watching it just like us. Because you guys also know that there is something off about this woman and you are pretending like it's not the case. Make no mistake, people. All of these conservative influencers who are public in their public face condemning Candace, talking about how wonderful Erika is, they too find something off about this woman. They do as well. Let's get into this first clip with Candace Owens. I thought that episode. So here's what I know about Candace. Candace will lay the groundwork. Episode 1 was just the groundwork. She is going to leave us. This is episode 2. I think she said 3. She is in episode 3. She will absolutely blow the lid off of Erika Kirk. In episode 3, she's building up. Candace does this very strategically. So I can't help but think that they breathed a sigh of relief, honestly, because I think the people who don't watch Candace regularly think that this is like her big reveal. The rest of us are going, oh yeah, we already know. She's building us up slowly so she can drop a bomb and say, see, I told you so. I told you something was off. So Candace Owens had said this about Erika Kirk's mother.
I will tell you my personal opinion and my experience with her. What alarms me about Erika isn't so much the fact that she lies, which we will prove to you over and over again, but it's also the fact that I don't know that she's aware that she's lying. It's almost as though she doesn't remember. Like the version that she's telling us today or yesterday was just recently downloaded into her mind, and she therefore thinks it's true, like a faulty memory or something. I'm saying that I'm not sure if she's fully aware that she's lying, because it's like some of the lies are so stupid. She's just sort of going. I want you to also know, by the way, of course, we reached out ahead of this episode. We reached out to her specifically with just 4 questions pertaining to past statements that she's made that do not appear to align with the reality of what we have discovered.
Okay, so here's what I want to say about this. When I watched the entirety of this episode, I actually got very nervous for both Candace and Erika. And let me explain to you why. For this reason specifically, when she said, I don't know if Erika knows she's lying, my mind immediately went to the fact that Erika has been fed information and they're telling her different stories, and she's repeating different stories. And that she may not even know that she's been lied to. Do you guys remember when Candace started talking about the Egyptian planes following Erika Kirk? And after her meeting, Candace said Erika said she had no idea those planes were following her, and it kind of freaked her out. And I thought in that moment, I thought either Erika's straight up lying and she knows, or Erika doesn't know that she was part of some special program. And yes, they've been tracking her. And that made me very nervous for Candace Owens and Erika because, the subjects are not supposed to know that they're in an experiment, right? The Truman Show, Harry Truman, right? That's I can't remember the first name of the character. He wasn't supposed to know that he was in the show. Everyone else knew. And I wonder if both Erika and Charlie were in the show and she's glitching because Candace Owens is sharing information that she's may or may not know is happening. That is my generous, compassionate take on Erika Kirk. Now, the other take is this girl knows fully well what she's doing. She's fully cognizant, conscious that she's lying, and she is, in fact, a shapeshifter. So she will say and do whatever it takes to keep the story going. That is the other side of that coin. But I had to bring this up because I have felt, there has been a part of me that has felt sick about this, because I wonder if Candace Owens, as always, is exposing things in an effort to find Charlie's killer. She's exposing things that people never knew or that are going to upend someone's life, and not mean their demise, not meaning they'll die, but just up in reality as they know it. And I do worry that that is what's going to happen as a result of this. Because what do you mean your aunt was faking studies and part of a school program that was abusing children? I mean, what do you mean? Did you even know that? Did you know that this was the kind of thing that they were doing behind closed doors? Part of me thinks that Erika did not know. She did not know that this was her family's dealings, and she too is finding out this information. The problem is there are very, very powerful people who don't want her to know.
Okay. For example, here's just one example. We are told that Erika Franz was raised by a strong, independent, entrepreneurial, single mother who taught her how to be a good Christian, a devout Catholic mother.
And it's very possible, you guys, that Erika was told this. You guys know that people will just repeat things to you and tell you things over and over again. And I know some of you guys are going to be mad at me because I'm being generous towards Erika, but part of me, and this is what Candace said, that concerns me is it feels like she's under a spell. That's what it feels like. And I don't mean like in a genuine witchcraft way, but I mean as in she was programmed to believe certain things, to say certain things, and now she's kind of acting off. I think it's very possible that so many people told her, you were raised by a single mother. You were raised by a single mother. You were raised by a single mother. You hear something long enough, you believe it. Your dad wasn't around. Your dad wasn't around. No, he wasn't. Your dad wasn't around. Oh, you're thinking of your uncle. Your dad wasn't around. That was your uncle. So you keep repeating things that are not even factually true until someone goes up and digs this information. For all I know, Erika Franzwe's mom was like, oh yeah, I've only been married once. Do you think Erika would ever go and look at her marriage records? I mean, I haven't looked at my parents' marriage records. So how would she even know that her mom's lying? So that is my generous take. The other side of that is, yeah, Erika's straight up lying. She's like, oh yeah, I know my mom's been married 4 times, but tell people we are devout Catholics and that's all that matters. Because in genuine Catholicism, you are not supposed to be getting married 4 times. Did you get married in the Catholic Church? I'm confused because they wouldn't grant that, I don't believe. So yes, it is very scary to think that so many things have come out of Erika's mouth that are just inconsistent.
Lori Franzwe, right? As an aside, that this Catholic mom, who am I to judge Catholics, but she's been married 4 times that I can see. We'll talk about that more down the line. More importantly, though, you will recall that Erika sat down for an in-person interview with the New York Times days after Charlie was publicly assassinated, and she confirmed to them that the least traumatizing part about Charlie's assassination was the prospect of her now having to raise her children alone. She wasn't traumatized by that idea because she had seen the example set for her by her mother growing up. As
Shape-shifting. Shape-shifting into, okay, who does this CEO position need me to be? Does this CEO position need me to be the wife of a conservative man? Or now that I'm out of the conservative traditional wife, I can become a single mom boss babe. Who do I need to be to succeed in this role? Not necessarily what's right, or not necessarily what aligns with my values. And you see, that's what is strange about Erika, is that her values seem all over the place. Now, it's one thing to be young and dumb. I give people the benefit of the doubt all the time for being young and dumb. It is one thing to be young and dumb, but own your young and dumbness. Like, you can't embarrass me because I'm always like, yeah, I was young and dumb and I did that. Yes. Instead, what we get from Erika is, I've always been this pious, prayerful, reverent woman who has never sinned. I've never drank. I've never done anything. I was a virgin, kind of, when I married Charlie. And people are like, this doesn't make sense. Like, the wild lifestyle you used to live doesn't make sense. But she was shape-shifting.
People magazine later echoed, quote, Erika Kirk has learned a lot from her mother, Lori Franzwe. After welcoming her daughter in November of 1988, Franzwe divorced Erika's father, Kent Franzwe, and raised her as a single mother in Scottsdale, Arizona. Lori spent nearly 2 decades working for General Electric before founding multiple companies in the network security industry, according to her LinkedIn. So you can see they're seeding the public with the idea that you can raise kids and be a single mom and also be a CEO and boss babe it. Okay.
And look how wonderful she turned out. Do you see? Don't forget, that's the subtle messaging. You see, it's okay for her to do this because she took me to church every weekend and and she donated money. And this is how I turned out. Come to find out, she's lying. Kent actually helped raise her quite a bit. To me, I know that everybody was caught up in the genealogy and the lineage, but to me, this part spoke volumes. And I don't know if it's because, as a Christian woman, I don't like when people are inconsistent and when they use faith as a weapon to conveniently support whatever ideology fits them and suits them best. But this particular part of her podcast really cemented what I've always thought about Erika Kirk, which was, she is a woman who doesn't have strong values. She takes on the values of whatever the organization needs her to have in order to be successful. And that is someone who is not principled. Let's take it aside for a moment. Zach Costello, bless his heart. Let's take it aside for a moment. Zach Costello interviewed a man. Speaking of Catholicism, Zach Costello interviewed a man today who apparently had a conversation with Charlie about Catholicism. And why do I keep talking about this? Because Erika was Catholic. She was Catholic. And so I have questions. Was her plan all along to convert Charlie? But that doesn't make sense, because in Catholicism, you don't believe this sort of like Zionist worldview unless you are a very specific kind of Catholic. Because the kind of Catholicism that Candace Owens follows, that Carrie Prejean follows, in like Catholic doctrine, the church is the new Israel, not the land of Israel itself. And I'm still working on Charlie Kirk's conversion because I firmly believe, and again, it's strange to me, it's incongruent because Erica's talking about, well, Judaism is, or anti-Semitism is brain rot. Charlie thought it was brain rot. But if Charlie was going to go full Catholic, full Catholicism says that the church is the new Israel. It's not Israel itself. And you don't have to just defend everything that Israel does. So I'm confused about what her role was there. Was she just going to say what she needed to say, or did she not anticipate him going down that route of that kind of Catholicism? Let's take a listen to what this man had to say about what Charlie's conversion.
So we put on a mass here in Phoenix, and we just said, hey, this is the most sacred thing we have as Catholics, the Holy Eucharist. Why don't you come to Phoenix? She came, we did an event with her, and that was that. Well, guess what? So I'm texting Charlie about this very event. Okay, this is May 2024. And I just realized I haven't shared this text before. So it's the first to hear this show. I said, hey, I sent Charlie the link for this welcome home mass. He responds, very cool. Okay. And then I said, Charlie, this little celebration thing we're doing is this is what we're going to do for you and turn it up 5 notches, I say, when you make it home to the Catholic faith. Okay. It was maybe a little too bold there, right? But so what did he say? He responded right away and said, well, just between us, the priest that I connected with you, I've been trying to meet up with him. And for some reason, we've had a disconnect and unavailability to connect. But he says this, I've been trying to meet up to discuss architecture. No, to discuss Catholicism. It's right here, my text messages, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he said, I love Catholicism, right? So it was there. And then we were texting back and forth. He says, I go to mass weekly. I love it. Right there. Charlie's messages. Okay. So I don't know why this is. I think I do know why this false architecture, like excuse has been being pushed, not just early on, recently. I think it was a friend of Erika's, I think it was Tracy, who said just recently, like, yeah, Charlie loved it. That's not true. Why would you push that?
And hold on, you guys. So here's my thing. This is why this is so incongruent for me, because Erika is a straight up Catholic. Okay, she's. There's no bones about it. Why wouldn't you say, yeah, we had discussed Catholicism? Yes, we had gone to churches. Yes, we went to mass every Sunday. Yes. And we believe that you can be a Catholic and be a true, genuine Christian. Why didn't she just say that? Why did she then text Andrew Colvett at Alex Clark's, expose, her little interview with Andrew Colvett, and tell them that he just loved the architecture? Why did Erika do that? Because they clearly went to mass together. They clearly went to mass together every week. And Erika clearly grew up Catholic. Why would you hide that? Why is she hiding that? She's a shapeshifter. She's shape-shifting. Who? Not only is the question, who does Charlie need me to be? It's who does this organization need me to be? Even in his assassination, this was the perfect time for her to just come out and say, I'm going to mass. We go to mass. Nope. She's Shabbat Shaloming it all over town, pretending like they weren't going to mass every week. We have text messages to prove it. This is another lie. And you see, when you become 7 different versions of yourself, you have to lie. And even if Erika Kirk is innocent, the problem is that she's, because of her slippery nature, as we say out here, she's slippery. Erika Kirk is slippery. Because of her slippery nature, she cannot be trusted, even if she's telling the truth, because we've seen her lie now and support lies and push lies and text lies behind the scene.
I mean, I think, as for what I said before, I think if you identify him with a certain faith that has a very clear position about how we should treat the 1948 state of Israel, which is actually America First position,
Yeah.
that's no bueno for a lot of the donors at
Yeah.
TPUSA.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. And at the end of the day, you see, okay, you want to get at it? At the end of the day, if Erika Kirk was truly, devout Catholic, wouldn't she say, this is the position of the church and this is the position I'm taking? But no. What matters to Erika Kirk most? What matters to Erika Kirk most? It's money. It's money. That's what drives her. It is money, fame, and power. And whatever it takes is whatever, she will do whatever it takes to get there. The Catholic Church outright takes an America First position on the 1948 state of Israel. Outright. And she got on CBS and Shabbat Shalom'd her way through press tours and millions of dollars and brain rot, this, that, and the third. Shapeshifter. Scheissmeisters are us. Yeah. Erika Kirk lies like we breathe. 100%. When I saw this video of this man saying, yeah, Charlie texted me and said I was going to mass every week. Again, you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. I don't know any evangelical Christian who goes to mass every week. I don't. When are you going to church? Are you going to church on Sunday because you're Shabbat Shaloming, or on Saturday because you're Shabbat Shaloming on Friday to Saturday? So are you going to mass during the week, like Wednesday night mass, and then going to church on Sunday? I thought Rob McCoy was your pastor. Where do you go to church? Where were you going to church? The whole thing is crumbling down. This whole thing of him being and TPUSA being a faith-based program is crumbling. All right, let's get to today's episode. Shapeshifter Part 2, which is Erika Kirk's lying. Candace Owens mentioned these men were saying Erika's mother is, okay, this is the weirdest crossover. Right in the chat or in the comment section, do y'all know who Dan Markle is? The professor who was murdered in Florida, and the mom, Wendy is the daughter. Wendy is the wife who murdered him, and the mom was like controlling the whole thing. She low-key looks like her. I cannot believe I'm doing this live. Hold on, you guys. I want to show you guys what she looks like, because she low-key looks like Lori Fronsby. Is it Donna Adelson? This is the weirdest crossover. And I know, let me show you guys. This woman. So this is the woman who her daughter murdered. You guys need to know who this is. Her daughter murdered her husband, the daughter's husband, and the mom was pulling the strings. This is the mom. And I don't know why, but there's a Lori Fronsvay sort of esque spirit. And this is Donna Adelson. If you have any time, just go look up Donna Adelson and Wendy Adelson, and that last name is peculiar also, but just go look at the way that the mom orchestrated the entire murder. She's telling people who to pay. She's telling them how to send the money. She's doing, there's a little bit of, there's a canny, it's just, the resemblance is there, right? And when Candace Owens mentioned this is immediately who I thought of. This is what's best for you. You need to marry this kind of guy. You can't date that kind of guy. He's not making that much money. Even though I know you're attracted to him. I know Cabot Phillips is attractive, but he's not as this guy Charlie, he's going to be a millionaire, multi-million. That's the one you can marry. I will not accept. You can't marry him. You cannot marry Cabot Phillips or whoever else she was engaged to. That's what I think when I heard this from Candace Owens. Let's take a listen.
remember. And there's an element of that to me feels like information is being downloaded, like she's remembering things and can't quite remember it. And I'm going to show you this clip because tomorrow we're obviously going to get into her pageant days and how she meets Tyler Boyer and the connections in Romania. But I do want to show you this clip of her just kind of lying very casually about how she got into the pageant world. This is her discussing that back in 2020. Take a listen.
Was it after that? That's when you started pageants? Or when did that come about?
Right. So the pageant world to me is something that it was an interesting season of life. It was nothing that I was ever groomed for. It was nothing that was ever on my radar.
Remember when Candace told us to notice how she lies? When Erika Kirk is about to lie, she tells a backstory. She justifies it. That's how you know she's lying. Not just because her lips are moving, but she justifies it. She tells a little backstory that sort of like softens. It's almost like she's been trained that that's how you tell stories so that they're more believable. I'm just saying.
I just, I wanted to play professional basketball.
Tomboy.
That was my thing ever since I was 5. Like that was I wanted to play, and that was all I wanted to do. I was a gym rat, for lack of a better term. And I remember getting something in the mail when I had come home from school one summer, and it was like, hey, you should compete at Miss Arizona USA. Someone nominated you. And I was like, I don't know who would nominate me for that, but okay. So I shared it with my mom, and I was reviewing all the different things that you have to go through. And I thought to myself, if I were to ever win this, the most important thing out of it would be to be able to make a difference with the title. I don't care about the photo shoots. I just want to be able to overbook myself, being able to get involved with the local communities, with the local organizations.
By the way, you guys, this little thing that she's wearing on her neck is a Freemason thing. So yes, her grandfather, 33rd degree, I believe. And there is an entire, oh my gosh, you guys, there is an entire deep dive on the kind of satanic, vile things that Freemasons, once you get past a certain level, that you have to do as a Freemason. Family's all up in it. Franz Solomon.
That are actually making a difference. So the pageant world for me was something that was not a form of narcissism. It was more along the terms of being a steward for my state, especially as it hit our 100th year celebration.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not true. Erika has been involved in pageants from the very beginning. Her mother is definitely the person who pushed that. I actually do believe that Erika loves basketball. There's no question she plays basketball. But this idea that she didn't want it is just not true. It's so objectively not true. Erika, without question, and anybody who's being objective and honest and looking at her history of the people that she dated and the people that she wanted to be in close proximity to, can guarantee to you that this girl wanted to be famous, like very badly wanted to be famous one way or the other. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we unpacked a lot, but I just wanted to introduce you to Dr. Jerry Franzfey and that Tesseract School. And tomorrow we're going to really jump into Erika's pageant years and when she kind of, I would say, hits the map. I'm going to answer some of your comments when we come back after a short break. All right, you guys,
and what's crazy about that is nobody would care if you said, yeah, like I thought it'd be fun. I wanted to try it. It was something new. But no, instead she goes, I never wanted that. It was something that, was about being a good steward. Now, here's the thing about these mothers. Sometimes these mothers will say things like, oh, it'll be great for the community because they know that the child will maybe shy away from that thing. But in Erika's case, I don't think that's it. I think in Erika's case, she wanted to be famous. She had tried, several different things. She was going to different schools. She was playing basketball, but she desperately wanted to be famous. She thought, this is how I'm going to get. And typically what happens is when you get into Miss America or Miss USA, your name becomes nationally known. And you can use that to get on TV shows, to get an agent, right? Maddie Pruitt did that exact same thing. Maddie Pruitt was on the was in a pageant. She lost, but then she went on The Bachelor, and The Bachelor made her famous, right? So this is not, news that people do this for fame. The problem is that Erika Kirk wants to hide it. And I wanted to get to some of the comments. Let's see.
Promo code Candace. Okay, the comments yesterday were just exceptional. I just want to shout out all of you guys in the comment section. Amazing, so funny. We were laughing so hard. Just going to read a few of my favorite ones. Okay, the top comment was, had to hide in the washroom at the Daily. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to that one first, but I'm going to finish this Daily Wire one. Had to hide in the washroom at the Daily Wire to watch this with the other 238,000 live audience. So good. Angel of Remedy writes, I want to piss off Candace so that she will investigate my family roots because I want to know where I come from. Tanner Wolf wrote, everything they have been telling us is far, far from the truth. I mean, loving the Scandinavians in the comment section. It was fantastic. We really enjoyed it. And you guys just make everything worth it because it's so fun, even though the media absolutely hates us. And it's crazy. The talk about a psychological campaign to try to get us not to do the series. You guys have no idea what they were doing. Just no idea. They were beyond. Charlie writes, we all feel what is happening instinctively, Candace. I feel you are the one who was sent to pull down the veil and unite us all against the elite global machine. They try to divide us, but together we are strong in God and truth. You know what? I used to play that game too. I didn't even realize it. That's how good their psychological campaigns are. Like, they really do make you think you figured it out if you've picked either the left or the right. And no, they are benefiting on both sides of that machine. And it is the same families that are benefiting at the very top. All of it would have seemed so crazy to me if you had said to me, even 5 years ago, that the elites are practicing occult magic. And now I'm going, why are we even in school? We're just literally sitting in a classroom talking about the public school system so they can just work a number on your children and make them think that they're educated and that they should pursue working for one of these companies with the elites. That's the most aspirational thing that they can do. It's so backward. It is.
And by the way, Erika Kirk's family, Franzwe, Rothstein, they are those families. So you guys, I live in an area of California where there's a lot of wealthy people, and they send their children to these obscure schools. And when Candace was talking about the Tesseract school, it created a visceral reaction in me, because I was like, oh my gosh, because everyone knows that there are like certain schools that the rich kids go to. And I mean uber wealthy kids go to, right? They're the schools that don't use computers. They still are like analog schools. They have special, pipelines to Ivy Leagues and things like that. And the lie of pretending that Erika Kirk came from this humble single mom abode, it's like, that is so far from the truth. Just own the fact that you are a wealthy kid with rich parents and ties to the Rothsteins. Just own that. Like everybody else, you're not like us. You're not like the rest of us. It's this relatability, this pretending to be relatable, which will kill the rich every single time. Gavin Newsom fell into that trap, trying to be relatable. You start lying.
It's just so backward. Intuition Jen writes, it seems really weird and now a bit suspicious that there are so many Mormons involved with Turning Point USA. And Erika, thank you for continuing to go, Max. The Mormon thread will continue to happen. I do want to say this first and foremost. So many Mormons helped me in the Charlie Kirk investigation, and I could not have done a lot of that early research into UVU campus if it was not Mormons running around getting information and them acknowledging what's going on at this university. Why do I feel like the CIA is involved? Why is our president like former CIA? She has since stepped down, but there's a lot of weird stuff happening in Utah. But in terms of speaking about Turning Point USA, Tyler Boyer is the guy. He's the guy that introduced Charlie to everybody, including Erika. And Erika can't remember how she met him. That's not right. Okay. And more investigation needs to be done into Jerry Franzwe's Mormon family. Okay. I'm going to give you that last name again of her mother, Marjorie Ferrin, Ferrin. And now Mormon families are always big, so this could mean something or it could mean nothing. But the Farrens definitely married into the Farnsworth clan a few times. And Arizona, there's stuff going on there. There is definitely stuff going on. Tyler is close with the Farnsworth clan. We've covered that.
And by the way, it's funny. I was talking to a family member after Charlie Kirk's death, and he mentioned that there were tons of Mormons in TPUSA Faith, and he said, I would never support that organization. And it made complete sense, because if you call yourself an evangelical Christian, you simply don't mix with Mormons. And so it was really interesting. I'm like, is Tyler Boyer a shapeshifter as well? Because there were lots of Mormons in TPUSA Faith. And of course, we all know there's like occult Mormons, and then there's sort of like your everyday Mormons. And I wonder and I worry about what kind of people Tyler Boyer was bringing into the TPUSA fold. And again, money is going missing. Yeah, are you guys shuttling money to the Mormon Church through the Mormon Church for, laundering for other things, right? God knows what. Yeah, these are genuine questions. And I believe straight up that Charlie was starting to figure that out. Like, who are all these people? When did TPUSA Faith become an organization that was more than a Christian organization?
Lot to look at. And I can say definitively, he is not a good person. And it's weird that Erika is protective of him. That should unnerve you. If that's another thing that was missing in this, is just her instinct to get rid of bad people or people that were pressuring Charlie. She's like, give them main stage. These are my allies. My allies are Charlie's enemies. I don't know. None of that's normal. None of that is normal. And if I find out the Turning Point action was indeed for a fact and not allegedly, and I feel like it is like, I'm getting this from Turning Point USA, right? I was actually missing around $10 million, two separate people saying that, one in their personal life saying that, and now someone in their professional life saying that. And Erika is covering for that. It's just going to get even bigger. This is just going to we just need to keep the pressure and get to the bottom of what happened.
And here's the thing. Here's what Erika will do whatever it takes to keep the boat steaming. She may or may not know about the cover-up, but she will do whatever it takes to keep the boat steaming. Stacey Sheridan has her wrapped around her little finger. Tyler Boyer has her wrapped around her little finger. This is my Turning Point family. I'm a mama bear. I will protect these people with my life. There is an element of naivete with Erika Kirk. I don't think that she has the financial, educational aptitude to be a CEO. I don't think she's as like cunning as Charlie. I don't think she's as wise. I don't think she's as perceptive. So she doesn't even have, I don't even know if she, and I'm pleading on behalf of her ignorance here, but I don't even know if she has the wherewithal to think that these people are pulling the wool over her eyes. But that's the generous take on her. The more realistic take on her is, oh yeah, she absolutely knows. And the question that she's asking right now is, how do we hide this? How do we funnel this money back in so that there's no money missing? How do we cover this up? And I believe that's the more realistic take.
Jennifer Hofer writes, the young boys who were abused were David and Bruce Reimer. I'm from Manitoba, a small town outside of Winnipeg. It is a very dark story, yes, absolutely, of what Dr. John Money did to those twins. And there was so much evil that happened. The media did not cover it well. I pray he is in a better place. There was no justice ever served. Absolutely true. And that was in one of Dr. Jerry Franzfe's colleagues, given her background and what happened to her. And the family was just okay with it. Come back home. Okay, it's all right. Your 19-year-old boyfriend knocked you up. Just come back in. We This person writes, we need a day of peace and worship, a Hands Across America 2.0. We need to come together and raise the spiritual vibration of this world. Some will fight this evil with weapons. Some will fight it with spirituality. Anyone have any ideas? Let's go, Max. I am all about fighting it with prayer and truth. I am so serious when I tell you, I don't know. It's almost like they try to like cast a spell every time they lie, but it doesn't land anymore. It doesn't land. And they kind of know it doesn't land. All of the money, like we're saying no to the money. We're recognizing the influencer campaigns, the screaming, the theatrics. You cannot watch this series. Candace is a demon. Oh my gosh. How dare she look into what school Erika went into? How dare she notice that she's lying? Like, I always want you guys to just feel encouraged because none of us were awake to this years ago. We were all at one another's throats, and now we are finally turning around and looking at the elites and going, who are you? What families are you from? Why are you behaving like this?
And here's what they didn't expect. They did not expect, Candace mentioned this early in the episode, that they did not expect this to backfire because remember, they wanted us to see Charlie die. Because whenever these things happen, it was like when they wanted us to see George Floyd died. They wanted us to see that. They wanted us to see that woman on the plane, Irina Zarutska, on the bus. They wanted us to see that. And I said this months ago. They underestimated how many people had been disenfranchised and had woken up from COVID. They thought we were just going to fall right back into the pattern of, this is terrible. Now we must vote for the Republican Party again. Saint Erika is here in Charlie's stead, and whatever she says is right. They underestimated that. And they're still underestimating us. And this is why it's like, what's crazy is watching the influencers post the same thing over and over again. And you can just see who is still in the matrix. And I'm not even saying you have to agree with Candace to be in the matrix, like to be out of the matrix. But there are people who are like, what Candace is doing is out of pocket. But I'm not about to shut her down because I don't think that's right. Then you have the people who are saying Candace is evil. She mustn't say anything about Erika Kirk. Those are the people who are saying the talking points. And there's also people who are saying, I don't really care what Candace is doing because the world is falling apart and you guys are eating babies. And there's more people doing the latter who are saying, there's more people eating babies. Y'all have people eating. You guys are angry about Candace Owens doing a deep dive into a CEO, which is very normal. Before most people are hired, we do deep dives on their lives. We do deep dives on their lives. And all of a sudden, you guys want to be mad about this, but you're not mad about the fact that half of the Republican Party and half of the Democratic Party are complicit in eating babies and covering up the Epstein files? Cool.
We're the psychologists now, right? We're diagnosing them and they're a bunch of psychopaths. Okay, done. This is our ship and you guys got to go. Okay. We're not doing this anymore. The peer pressure, making people terrified all the time, and you're going to lose everything. We'll crush you. We'll do this. Goodbye. Okay. Just goodbye. Nobody cares about that anymore. Jordan writes, Dear Candace, you are a human being who is true to her soul. When my father died, I held him tightly to my arms to make him know that I was there for his last path, as scary as it was for him. Wow, it's so beautiful. While being skeptical, I kept my senses open and I truly felt his soul coming out of his body. Helena Dini writes, TPUSA is running a tight shipwreck. Joyce Tutall writes, she is America's #1 investigative truth seeker. Of course, we stand with Candace. Christ is King. Let's go. Yeah, I just want you guys to walk away and know that the elites are practicing the occult. I want you to know that it has not stopped. Yes, they are satanic, and we have to just acknowledge that thing first. Remain optimistic. In the end, God wins, okay?
And that is why, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I can't believe I'm going to say this right now. Because the elite are practicing the occult, this is why they can easily, slither between different religions and slither between different, parties and slither around these other people who are satanic, like the truly satanic ones. This is why they can do that, because they have no morals. They are belly crawling, depraved, reprobate creatures. And they're running TPUSA. They are running TPUSA. Like that feeling you get when you watch Ben Shapiro, like he is half demon, you know, like half of his soul is on level 12 of hell, and then half of his soul is here. That's everybody. That's all of them. And I think we thought that TPUSA was like innocent because it was a 501c3. But this is how they run. But that's actually how they control the world. They control the world. It's not just through the government, it's also through 501c3s. It's also through that. They are one, again, someone said this to me after Charlie Kirk's death, and I was upset. You guys, I was upset. I was like, no. I was like, no, there's no way. Erika's not a Mason. Girl, yes, she is. That whole family is. That's why they can marry 6 times and then claim to be Christian. Whatever they need to be to get the job done. That's why I called her a shapeshifter.
God, he's already won. My husband always says to me, I'm like, in the end, we win. He's like, Trish has already won. That's why they can't defeat truth. They don't know what to do. They're spending so much money. They can buy everything. They can buy influencers. They can buy ad spots. They can continue to float people who would naturally have failed if we did, in fact, live in a free market society. Nobody's watching them, but somehow their companies keep growing. Yeah, that's the elites. That's their money. The factory never ends. But the one thing they can't purchase is truth. They can't. And so be happy. Be happy. That's not a thing. Hope Bean writes, Bodhi Bauckham is a prominent pastor and author and a theologian. He died on September 25th, 2025 at the age of 56. His death was attributed to an emergency medical incident. I loved him. I wondered about his death. Christ is king. Yeah, I did not know those. I did not know any of that. So thank you. Paigey writes, did everyone see the alleged leaked smear campaign against Candace Owens by Turning Point USA? That isn't righteous judgment. It's bearing false witness. The 9th commandment doesn't include an agenda-driven exemption. Truth over fear. Christ is king. Go Max. I can tell you, I did not look too much into that because I felt that they were trying to distract us and our team from doing the work and actually creating the series. But what I will say is I found out from employees that they were behind the attacks against me from the very beginning. And so that was quite shocking because I was obviously speaking to them in good faith, trying to understand what had happened. And then I was very alarmed to learn that they had so early been behind a PR campaign to dismiss me. I mean, at Charlie's real funeral, they're on the phone with the doctor and coming up with like magic bullet theory. That's beyond weird. Don't ever forget that.
And by the way, like you want to talk about snakes, you want to talk about slithering bottom feeders, they're doing this while talking to her face. Let's talk to her to her face. Go meet with her. That's why I said from the beginning, I was like, oh, they were meeting with Candace, you guys, and the meeting to see what Candace knew. Candace is smarter than that, though. She was like, yeah, I'm not telling you guys everything I know. But that's exactly why they were doing it. They met with her to see what she already knew. Not because they wanted to be transparent or truthful. And then went behind their back. And I told you guys, I've been listening to the Charlie Kirk show. I've been waiting for them to mention something. I've been waiting for them, and they haven't. Why? They're saving face. They have who's that idiot they have there? Blake Neff. They have Blake Neff and Andrew Colbert playing righteous Charlie-esque characters. They have Erika Kirk playing the saint. And then behind the scenes, you have Stacey Sheridan, Elizabeth McCoy, Mikey McCoy, directing little minions to attack Candace Owens, all while smiling at the camera and saying, we stand for righteousness, we stand for truth, she's evil. Just effing hypocritical as can be. And you see, I think people don't understand why Candace is so angry. It's because of this. It's not just that they have left information out about Charlie's death. It's not that they've just been shady about that. It's the goading and the poking of her behind the scenes whilst smiling in her face. I can't imagine what it's like to go onto X and to see people, just essay after essay after attack. Your children are gonna, you're horrible, right? but then they smile in your face. Yes, Alexandra, it is a rattlesnake pit.
That came from Erika. That came from Erika. Superman neck came from Erika. And they're telling you, you have no right to ask questions. Like, what? She was running a PR campaign to help the masses believe that Charlie had like a Superman neck on the day that he was slated to be buried. I guess he wasn't buried. We don't know whether or not he was ever buried, but that's wild. That is wild. And it's not okay. And so, yeah, tomorrow, like I said, we will begin in earnest to go through her pageant years, which I'm very excited to get into. But I felt like this background and these players are important. Dr. France Faye is important. And now I can just kind of give you the timeline. We can go through and see what Dr. France Faye is doing in Eastern Europe. And then Tyler is going to get into Eastern Europe. And Erika is going to get into Eastern Europe. And everybody's in Eastern Europe with the Marines and doing good things. Always. They never do anything bad. What are you talking about? The Marines gave Good Samaritan Hospital out of their hearts. They just said, I heart you, Catholics. Here, have this hospital. Yeah, that's how it goes. Anyway, reminding you, if you'd like to support the show, we have merch available on the website. Head to CandaceOwens.com. It is the easiest way to support me and to support our team and the...
Okay, and that's that. So that's what I just wanted to point out, those couple of things from that episode. I as I said, I knew that these first couple of episodes were going to be a little bit more factual, a little bit more I don't know, meaty, if you will, and just looking into her family. Here's what I know too about the media, and I want to say this because they will take this all, the media is taking this all as just white noise, like background noise. They're not really taking this seriously, and that's okay. Because I don't want us to think that this is background noise or this is not good or this is not. No, Candace always has a reason for why she's sharing that information. And so I'm excited for her to do that. But yes, Erika Kirk is a shapeshifter. She will be whoever she needs to be in order to get where she needs to go. And so even, make no mistake, in 5 or 10 years, she will have a completely different platform than her husband. Why? Because the people who are making her rich and famous will tell her, you need to think like this. You need to say that. And she'll say, okay, sure. The TPUSA that we know it is gone because the person who had the moral compass, who was had a tight rein on the moral compass, is dead. They took him out. And because Erika has no backbone, because she has no values, she swooped in and said, I will do whatever you want me to do. Here I am, Lord Dollar, send me. Here I am, Lord Dollar, send me. I cannot wait until tomorrow's episode. I'm shocked that Candace is doing one on Friday, because tomorrow is Friday, right? So I will be back after Candace Owens' episode tomorrow to debrief that with you guys, because I know it's going to be fire. But just remember, Erika Kirk used to believe that pornography is okay. Erika Kirk defended single fathers, like men who wanted to be single fathers. And now she wants you to believe that that's all wrong. That's all, I just changed my mind. Remember, Erika Kirk was a devout Catholic. And then all of a sudden she became an evangelical for Charlie. That's weird. That's weird. You don't switch religions for people unless you want something. All right, you guys, don't forget to like this video on your way out, and I will see you guys in the next one.